As you will see highlighted in an upcoming article in the Contra Costa Lawyer magazine entitled, "A Budget That Could Cause a Broken Heart." And it is authored by our own CEO, Kitty Torrey. Highlights from that article include the fact that starting in fiscal year 2008-2009, our court has been forced to cut its permanent budget by over $8.4 million and counting. Most of the cuts that we have suffered have come in the way of staff reductions. A total of 120 employees, roughly 30% of our staff, have been eliminated through attrition and or layoffs. During fiscal year 2012-2013, which begins in July of this year we know will cause grief for many of the users of our court system, because this will be the first year in which the court will be forced to drastically reduce services to the public. We are bracing for more massive cuts in this fiscal year, over $6 million in additional permanent cuts, over and above the $8.4 million that I've already pointed out to you. Now, I will say that fortunately, under the leadership of our past presiding judges and our CEO, our court has been fiscally responsible. We have accumulated a one-time fund balance, which has allowed us to use those funds to help manage these permanent reductions. And we will use some of those funds, hopefully, during the course of the coming year. Now, we do not know what will happen if the governor's tax proposal is not approved in November. The trigger for the judicial branch is another $125 million in permanent cuts. In Contra Costa County, that would likely mean somewhere between $2 and $3 million in additional cuts for our court, in addition to the $6 million that we're already facing for this year. Currently, I have a team that made up of all of our past presiding judges who are currently sitting in our court. We are reviewing many options to reduce services to the public based upon these significant budget challenges and reductions. I assure you that we will seek input from our Bar Association and our court partners and other court users prior to implementing any of these proposed reductions. Now, in spite of the gloomy budget news, there are some good things that I would like to report to you today. Our community outreach is something that we continue in our court to be very proud of. We also want to recognize, though, that the recent budget woes will likely imperil some of the programs that I am about to share with you that we are so very proud of. In 2011, the court, in partnership with the Bar Association and the National Association of Women Judges, sponsored the Color of Justice program. The purpose of this program is to encourage minority students to consider law and judgeships as career goals. Under the leadership of Justice Maria Rivera and Judge Barbara Zuniga, we hosted approximately 50 students from Richmond High School. And I'd just like to read to you a quote from a couple of the students which sort of sums it up and says it all. One student says, "I learned a lot. I learned that everyone can have a dream, and I have to have determination and never give up." Another student tells us, "I learned that a lot of the lawyers and the judges came from where we came from, and I now know that they feel how we feel. And a lot of them had complications in their lives, but they still made it." So those kinds of comments make these efforts worthwhile. We also launched, just this past December, the Civil Litigation Pro Per Clinic in partnership with the Contra Costa County Bar Association once again, the Law Center, and under the direction of Judy Craddock, supervising in our civil division. We now have a clinic that offers services to pro per litigants, either plaintiffs or defendants, to help them receive information about the process of civil litigation. For years, our court has played a major role, an active role in the mock trial program, in which high school students have participated. We have judges and lawyers who work with the teams, scoring the rounds of competition and providing feedback to the participants. We also have the law academies. Richmond High School was the first, but we now have law academies in Deer Valley, De Anza, and Pinole, to name a few. And the judges and lawyers have worked with these schools in many ways to contribute to their success. There's so many other things that we have done. I want to mention that under the leadership of Judge Austin, we've also taken DUI trials to our schools. We've participated in homeless court, veterans court, and veteran stand down. We also, under the leadership of John Kennedy, took a session of our appellate court to the Deer Valley High School in December of this year. We host approximately 70 school tours a year, and we are very grateful for the Bar Association, again, taking a leadership role in helping us to schedule and provide volunteers for the students. I could go on, but I'll stop there. This is only a sampling of the kind of work that the court has participated in addition to the very core function and work that the court does. But I do want to say that each of these programs requires staff to make the events work, and virtually all of the programs are now imperiled, recognizing that to the extent we can continue and maintain these programs, we will, and to the extent that we can use volunteers to help us, we certainly will. I'll close by saying these are very challenging times for our judicial branch and the public that we serve. We will do the best from the court standpoint to mitigate the impacts on the public to the extent possible. I'm going to close with the same words that I closed with at this time last year. I tell you that looking ahead, this is not our first economic struggle, and it will not be our last. Our staff, our court administration, and our judicial officers continue to think of new ways as we try to do more with less. As a court, we are committed to our mission statement to provide justice under the law, equally, impartially, and expeditiously, with dignity and respect for all. And I thank you for your time.